Well, Marty, council decided to move ahead with moving forward with the fire chief's plan to reduce the attrition. What's your reaction to their decision?
It's disappointing. We're hoping council would defer this motion to hear all the evidence. We're hoping that we'd be able to provide more information for them on the risk assessment, for Sault Ste. Marie. Unfortunately, we weren't successful tonight.
That seemed to be one of the main points that was brought up quite a bit. At least a couple of councillors brought that up. How important would a risk assessment have been to maybe improving the decision in your eyes, one way or the other?
I think to make an informed decision, you need to know what all the risks are. Firefighting is a inherently physical job. You need the manpower on scene in a short period of time to make a difference, to put the fire out, to make the rescue. Any reduction in services, in manpower, is going to affect our service model.
So, given that this report is, while not set in stone, it does give sort of the go-ahead to move forward with that reduced service over a 3-year period. What are some of the risks that people will experience?
Any shortages in manpower is going to affect our service model. It's going to affect what we are able to do when somebody calls 911. The likely, going from any major calls that we would have, the chief is proposing that we work with a minimum on-duty staffing to based on a single-family dwelling. We do more than just fight fires. We do more than just fight house fires. There's water rescue, ambulance assist calls, auto accidents, industrial fires. You need manpower on scene to do that.
Explain the NFPA 1710. This was another thing that was brought up. You describe it as a standard. How important is it to what you do?
It's a standard. It's a North American standard. It's a National Fire Protection Agency standard for training. The building code references it. The fire code references it. Fire college uses it, and we base our standard of training on this. Absolutely. They make recommendations on the minimum staffing that you need to do different types of fire calls.
Even though, according to the chief, it's not mandated by the fire marshal.
It's adopted by the fire marshal's office. It's a standard. It's not law. They're not legislated to use this.
However, it is a standard, as you put it.
However, it's an adopted standard across North America.
One of the variables you mentioned is a lack of negotiation or communication. Are you willing to do that within this 3-year period to improve the?
Absolutely. Our bottom line is public and firefighter safety. That's why we're here. Anything that would jeopardize or affect, we are adamantly against. So for the betterment of the protection for our citizens of Sault Ste. Marie, we're absolutely willing to work with that.
It seemed like members of council were in favor of more paramedics, but not at the sacrifice of cutting fire services. What's your opinion of that? So how do you think they should improve the paramedic situation without having to?
Well, it's not about fire and paramedics. The paramedic service is lacking in complement and having the ambulances on hand. Absolutely, we need to meet that requirement. For better safety for our citizens. You don't do that at the risk of cutting another emergency service.
What about what was suggested for the future? Could this affect the number of fire platoons and fire halls in the city?
Absolutely. It's a scary thought where they can go from here. It's a major reduction in frontline services. It's almost 25% of the fire department he's slashing over 3 years.
So what does your group plan to do from here after tonight's decision?
Regroup. The chief has indicated that he would like to get together and meet in coming weeks. We're going to have to sit down and talk and see what we can work to provide a better service for our community.
Do you have a timeline if, in fact, there is no further action of what your group might do as an alternative?
It's going to depend on talks going forward.